Hey, I'm Scotty, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to sketch this person right here with a really easy to follow step-by-step method. So this week, instead of doing our 4 dots in the beginning to create that top shape of the skull, I'm going to try something a bit different, and it's related to the way I sketch buildings as well, where we put the outermost edges of the building and then we sketch the lines in between. So I'd love you to follow along and see how you find this. So about a quarter of the way down the page, and about halfway across the page, let's put a dot here. And then that's the left hand side of the head where the hair is. So that's the outside of the shape there. And then go across, and that's about just a bit more than an inch across, and we put a dot there. So that is the width of the whole figure, the silhouette of the head. So with these dots, we've got that, the width of the head. We're going to draw the top shape of the hair up there like this. So making sure that we have it like a circle that goes between those 2 dots. So know the width and the height. It's about half of that distance up to here. So you could put another dot there if you like, but let's just draw that outside hair. So going up like this and going across like this down here and then around there. So make it a wobbly nice line like that. The shape continues past the widest point down here a little bit. So maybe that's even just about half of that height down here. So go from that point, come in a little bit, about that distance, coming in like this, like that on that side, and this side as well, the same height as that point from that dot, come down about there, across. So now we have the outline of the head. Now we've got to make the shape of the hair here. So we want to find that point right there on the hair so that we can come down to each point there. So I would say that's about halfway between those 2 points there. Come across about there and then up. Maybe slightly to the right, and we've got a little dot there. So now we can go up to this point, sketching that fringe and coming down. So it can be different, we're just doing an impression. Don't try and make it too perfectly exact to this lady here. We're just doing an impression. So up to there, so we look at that shape. It looks quite similar to the reference there. And we come down across, diagonally across from that point to here. Come down, and you can add a little wiggle there for hair. And down to there. And if you were doing this without dots, you just do that from observation quickly, that shape. But those dots will help you as you follow me. Now the face shape. So we want to find the chin, because that face shape is really important for the features. We don't go into the features yet. That's too complicated for us. So we want to get that main shape. And I'd say the chin is about there. That's just from observation. But if you want a bit of help with that, look at this ratio that I've put on the screen. The width is about 2. That's the ratio 2 to 3. From the hairline down to the chin, we want the face shape to have a ratio of 3 high and 2 wide. Another way you can look at it is at the eyebrows. If you come across to where the eyebrows are, it's about a square. Sometimes that helps me. And that third section is that forehead. And now we can draw that outline. But when we're drawing an outline of a lady that's a bit older, we have to consider that she has usually a slightly different lines on the chin. So a younger person has a very smooth jawline that comes to a pointy chin, especially with a female. But with an older lady, you can see just in here, it indents a little bit. So we have to have that in mind. You can actually even draw that chin. So the chin would be slightly to the left of the face because she's turned. So if you go the middle and slightly over, the chin is a little bit more to the left there. So draw a nice cute little chin here, like that. And now we can draw those other lines on either side. And notice there's a little in-depth and it has a little wobble there. So you can draw that line here now, up there like that. And then on this side, it comes down to about there, close to it, and has another little indent there. So it comes straight down like that, and then a little curve in like that. Now we have that chin with these 2 curves here next to the chin. And the ear is about there, some hair on this side, so a little bit of hair coming out there. And that is the main shapes. Just looking at the shoulders, now a man, when you come out, is about a head width, but a lady's slightly shorter. That would be the whole head width, and then we come across in a little bit. And see her chin, it's a little bit lower than the chin, so make sure you don't draw the shoulder too high there. So it should be a little bit narrower than a head. And then on this side, a little bit closer because she's slightly turned away. So there, it's almost half a head there. Okay, now you've got 2 points. Let's just get that outside bit, so coming down there and get the shoulders out here, and then we'll do the other side. Trying to do this step by step. Ignore the hands, okay? So we'll put those in later. So it's okay if we have to draw them overlapping other lines. Okay, so we've got the shoulders. How far do we come down now to those elbows? So what we can do, this is the head length from where the top of the skull is, ignoring the hair, down to the chin. So if I roughly, I'm just doing it by eye, but you could measure if you wanted to. So you go down about a head length, like that, and then a half a head length. So it's 1.5 heads to the elbow. And it's the same on this side. 1, I'm just doing it roughly, and 2. And looking at the angle, make sure you have that angle right. And you can double check by just seeing if both those are about level. Now let's get that shape. We want the angle of that sweater coming out there and then coming down to the elbow. So make sure you've got wrinkles, crazy lines like that. And this side another angle like that, and coming across like this. So the same thing, or actually we'll do the width of the arm here just so we can see. Starts from there and goes about there. I'm just guessing. And coming in, and then wrinkles. Really great strategy for getting that elbow. And you can see the elbow really easily. And this side, we've got that arm coming up, so it's a little bit tricky. I might just come across from that elbow, the inside of the elbow, and come to there and just draw a wrinkle there. Okay, now we know that's that forearm here coming up. But first I wanted to tell you about the next point here, proportions. We have that length, so that same length, we rotate it around to where the wrist is. So it should be the same here. I can measure with my pen if like that, so it actually would come out a little bit more there. So that's the wrist there, and then down from the wrist, that's where the end of the sweater folds over like that. But because her hand here is foreshortened, we can't really measure it. But what I can see is I can, from observation, see that top of this equals to about where that top of the sweater cuff is. So what I'm just going to do is just estimating that and coming in like this. Okay. Now I'm going to leave the hands because we don't want to get too focused. I need to continue down to the rest of the shapes. So what I'm going to do is say this height here from the elbow to the chin, double that down, and probably a little bit more. Or do you use scooch? A scooch more, used by North Americans. Scooch. It's one of my favorite words. We come down this way, and let's do this other side. So now here, we're coming at this about halfway between this point here, come across, and just come out from the elbow, put a point there. And now I'm going to come across to there, and come across this. And now I've got that section, so building those shapes down. Okay, and now we want to draw the bag. And we don't have to be too accurate, do we, with this sort of thing. It's just a fun shape to do. And we come down like this. So that's the outline of the shape. It's best to work in outlines like this. So we see here, we come down about maybe a third down to about this point, and that's where that top is. So now we've got the pants like that. So we'll do the hands next. Okay, so we're coming up here. We had that point where the wrist was, so you can draw the lines all in line with that line, and then here, okay, has a little bit of a gap there. So now we can draw this. So hopefully this is easy to follow, this way of drawing a hand. So make sure this part of the hand is slightly wider than this part. Sometimes with this sort of hand, it's easy to just do the whole outline instead of drawing the fingers individually. Looking from observation, just a rough outline, and making sure that line is shorter than that line, and then coming like this. And I'm just adding some bumps, 1 finger, 2 finger, and then something like that. Okay, you can be quite rough. Okay, and then we add the bottom of the umbrella there. Now we can do the other hand. So we come up to where the wrist should be, just slightly higher than this point on the hand. And now let's do the same thing. We've got that same length, so coming up that same, about the same length of the back of the hand. And now once again, just, it's not exactly where the reference is, where it's cutting the clothing, but you just keep going from where you've done it. So that's that length there, so I'm going up, and we're just pretty much just trying to get the outline shape that we can see of the hand there. So now we're going to add some details to these hands to make them look like hands. And the way I do that is between the knuckles, we've got 3 dots. So right in the middle, put a dot, and it shouldn't be just in the corner, it should be a little bit forward like that. And then 1 here and 1 here. And that is the split. You've got 1, and then you put 1 either side. So like that. And now we're just drawing just a very subtle line to just give an impression of the fingers. So we don't need to draw a hard line outlining the fingers, just a quick light line like that, and there's a little bit of a gap there, so you can make it a bit of a triangle like that, and another line here. She's got a nice ring on her finger, you can add that in. And then where the knuckles are, you can add little dots just to show there's knuckles. Okay, same thing here. We've got where the knuckles are, so we come forward a bit, and I'd say the middle's about there, and then either side put a dot. That's quite a tricky hand to get right, but let's start at the bottom here, just a little line there like that. It's not really touching completely the edges, it's just a little subtle hint. And then this one here, like that, and one, two, and then this one has a bit more of a gap because of her fingers higher. So do a line like that, and then maybe a little gap like that. So we show that the finger's a bit further up that way. And we can also draw little hints lines of the fingers coming back down, and I've got lines where the knuckles are, but there's the hands, and you can add another ring on the finger there. Okay, now we've got the hands. So now this section here we can divide up. So let's put the neck coming down like this, down a bit, and then there's a V coming down up here. Okay, we draw that collar on that side, and then the base of the neck there, come out there like that. It's coming past the hands and down, put it down there. We've already done that, and then come across here to the hand, and then down this way. Having a lot of fun with this. This is a nice sketch to do. You can add some more wrinkles in, and we have the strap overlay like this, and a circle decoration point, the official name, and I think the other one was on this side there. Okay, let's do the face now. So with faces, whatever shape you have here, we go from the hairline, or estimate where the hairline is, to the chin, and go down a third, and we put 2 dots for the gap between the eyebrows. And then we go from here down another third, and we put another 2 dots, the width of the nose. And then with every face, I put in the eyebrows first, and this can be quite thin eyebrows. So go up and then down, and this one up like this, and maybe a little bit down. And then with the nose, just above that dot on this side, I'll put a little line for the nostril and a little line on this side, and then we can draw a line along the bottom. Sometimes you can just do 2 little lines for the nostrils, or you could try something like this where I'm drawing 1 line, go up and then around that middle section, and then so that's another way you can do it. Okay, so I've got those lines, and with the bottom of the nose and the brow, we've divided the face into 3. Now the next step is the eyes. You can go up from between the corner of the nose towards the brow. We go up 2/3 and put a dot, and another 2/3 and put it. So the width of the eyes between the corners of the eyes is the same as the nose, approximately. And then we come across that width of the eye, and we come across that same width here, and it should be about the same here on this left side. It would be slightly shorter because she's turned, but okay. Now with the eyes, we can go up from this corner, just a little line like that. You could do this line, but I'm going to try doing this line today to match on both sides. So we've got 2 lines going up from the corner of the eye here, and then a little line, nice line going back down to that dot. Okay, and then a line going this way. This one have a little bit more curve in the left corner because she's turned a bit. So you can draw one like a little U shape and a little U shape on this side. And the reason I do the U shape is because her iris is cut off on it. And then you can join the top. I'm bringing the top eyelid down a bit, and then you can add a little pupil in the middle. And if it doesn't work out, just block these in black. Okay, now we're going for the mouth. It's 2/3 up to the corner of the mouth, or if it's a bit tricky, just go halfway and then across. I think about halfway is right with this reference. And make sure all your features have the same angle. So I'm slightly angled following that. Now the split between the lip is usually the first line I draw for something like this. So I can see here, just below the nose, it has a curve this way. So let's draw this. It's slightly narrower than the width of the nose, like this, like that. And then it comes down to the corners, like slightly grumpy look. Now we can't see the top lip, so we shouldn't draw a big voluptuous top lip. We just need to have that bottom lip. So we do a little line underneath, like that. Now at the moment she's looking a lot younger than she is. So, but they're the main lines that I draw. And now we need to add support lines to help make it match her likeness and her age. So first we'll add some lines around the bridge of the nose. So we'll put one here. We can see there's a nice strong line there, and there's a strong line on this side. So that starts to help. And then we can draw little lines around the end of the nose. We'll define the nose a bit better. And then around her eye, let's put a line here, just in the corner there, like that, and then a line on this side just to show it's sort of equal with the bottom of the iris and the corner of the eye, across like that. Okay, just trying to match the both sides. And then there's a line from the corner of the nose down towards the corner of the mouth. So add a nice line there, and on this side like that. Starting to get a bit more likeness. And then she has her eye has a little line here to show the top of the eyeball. So we can add something in there like that. And on this side, just a little second line in there. And then there's these lines under the eyes. So we're going to hint these ones too. So a little line here and a little line here. So that shows that those shapes under the eyes like that. See how it's changing the face just with these lines? For elderly people especially, we can add from the corner of the eye this way, we add just a couple of lines or a few lines just to show, even though I can't see them there, that's to show the age. People instantly can see. And there's also some lines usually between the eyebrows and then on the forehead. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then these lines like. And then on the cheek, there's not usually too much on the cheek, but just on this case you can see a little line just there, a little shadow. And then from the corners of the mouth we also have a couple of lines here which you wouldn't see on a younger person. We can add a mirror line from on this side. Now she's really changed from when we had her younger, and we can put some dots as well, and then the neck. So we've already got a nice undulating shape there, so on both sides. So let's go the neck. So this, I'm just getting a little bit of a hint of that shape there. Okay, like that, and on this side nicer, and we can add the hair here, the bit of detail. And then of course we have the umbrella. So what I'm going to do is base it off the hand. So if I get the hand, if I want it to come up this way, okay, so that means that these fingers need to probably come out a bit, but I don't think anyone will notice that that's not right. Okay, and I'm trying to bring it up a little bit here. So your umbrella might be a totally different angle than the reference. So let's just see. So it comes up to the top of the head there, doesn't it? So I'm just trying to follow that line there from between the hands. I've got the umbrella. Let's see, it should maybe a bit higher. I'm happy with that. Now let's draw the umbrella. So go to those points. So there's a point here and about the same, or maybe it's a bit closer. And then where's the next point? So the next point is down a little bit and shorter. So it's about 2/3 of this distance. So if that's about 2/3, come across down a bit. And you're just estimating where would look good on the page. Well, that fits in just there. It's quite nice. You can make it smaller to fit in. Let's draw that shape. So okay, let's draw them loose and connect it. Is that right? Trying to give it a little bit of a curve, an arch. If it's wrong, just go back over. And then the top line. So we'll go up a bit there. You can see it's less than a face. It's about the same as the brow to the chin there. And the two dots. So I'm going in, I'm imagining that it comes in, and I'm creating that shape with dots just as a construction. And then let's just draw that outline. Bits of one line like that, so it's all loose. And now we want to come across, so bring that down a bit, put a dot there and see if that looks good like that. Now join them up, arch it across, and then curve back the other way. Okay, same on this side, try and make it even. See there, looks good. So that's just good practice of observation, looking at the different shapes. We'll start with here, so we're going in a bit because it's a bit further away, and I reckon it would be probably there. So I'm going in a bit, it's further away, so it would be smaller, so behind her face there, and let's draw. So my umbrella is a little bit different to the reference, and I think everybody's will be, because it is tricky to match this exactly. And I can see it's got quite a nice arc this way, so I don't want to miss out on that. And going up to there, and then a funny little shape just in here. That's a shorter one. Come up like that, and the same. Come towards the middle point. There'll be another one there, and then here. And then nice little, oh actually it's on this side, maybe there are two. I'll add one here because that'll be nice there. Little space, little something there, levels out the sketch. Okay, I'm really happy with the line work. I'm sorry I had that off the camera. Okay, so I've got two brushes today, the round 12 and the round 10. I'll start with the round 12 because there's a lot going on here. Okay, so the first color we can use is burnt sienna for the skin. I've got enough in there now. And the light is coming from the left, but we're just going to do a rough blocking of this shape here like this. Leave a bit of white, a little bit more there. And on this side of it, and we're focusing more on the right hand side. I'll probably be doing a bit of cadmium red and some pink. So start on the side here, with very nice big rough strokes here around the hair. Go a bit stronger. And then as you go across, you can add more rows. That, add more rows. And the umbrella looks a little bit uneven, so I'm adding a little bit more to the left here. There we go. And it matches quite well with her shirt she's got on under here. So let's add that. Trying not to touch the hand around like this. So make it a light purple. So I have Purple Lake, it comes down like this. You can change the color as you go by adding more saturation. I'm leaving lots of white so it's all very loose. And then we have Burnt Umber. Sort of looks like a jacket as well, but you can see the strap, so it must be a bag. And then we have a little bit of white there too, and it's a bit in between here and then the strap, some back. So we've got Burnt Umber and Payne's Grey. Let's do the hair. And you can add bits of white for the shine. There's got a streak running through there, so leave that white there down there. And some cadmium yellow can go just into this little streak here. So I have a lighter blue at the top, a lighter layer of blue at the top, and trying to avoid those other colors. Leave lots of white on this side, so you've got the reflections, the light bouncing off the side, and we'll come down. Where should we meet the other blue? Oh, got it. Didn't want to go into that red. And here, this side. Oh, so that's what I've done. I've used ultramarine without thinking. Go back to the turquoise here, going down there, and adding a bit of ultramarine just in the end. It's going to mix it. Okay, then we're going ultramarine, and as we go down, we can add more and more saturation. Let that go. I'll make it a bit more interesting for us. Go back to Payne's Grey and put it into this section here, and Payne's Grey has a nice color to it, so we're not using black, and this will be the pants. Now shadows. So I'm using a purple color. I like to use Purple Lake in there. So what I want to do is add shadow to the under bit of the umbrella, but I still want it to look quite dynamic. So I'm just going to go across like this, right across, like even if it splashes onto the lady, it goes down like this. It makes sense that this is very splashy in watercolor because it is raining. You can add some splatters like that. And where else is shadow? It's hard to see in the reference because I think she's in shadow up to here, but I'm going to bring it up to her face there. So let's just go across the face, and that's just a bit of artistic license. Go across like this. I don't know why it suddenly changed a bit darker. Maybe I need a bit more water in there. And the next shadow would be under the chin here on this side, and where else? Here, maybe the back side of the hand in there, under the arms, here. The bag, and then under this bit the arm will be leaving a bit of shadow, and under there a bit here. So you're just looking for places that are behind. If the light's coming this way, then the shadows will be on this side. And we're giving a bit more shadow around the face, so I'm going to put a bit around the eye, the bottom of the nose there, like that, this side of the eye, okay, the chin, underneath the lips, and this side of the face, and this side of the nose. We'll add a final coat of color just for the details. So with this, especially with the umbrella, I feel like it needs a bit more life in it, a bit more energy. So I get a lot more pink, or rose, my permanent rose. Add it to the red. So I want to add a little bit of a streak under here. So just make it really interesting and dynamic there. Make that like comes out a bit more that way. And on the top we can add some splatters there, like this. Same with the blue, this ultramarine. You can just add a little bit in some of the corners. And then with the face, get that burnt umber, so it's like the brown color, and let's add in some of these details because we're doing the final bit. Okay. And then in the eye as well, if you've already colored the eye in all black, you don't need to do that bit. And then we've got rose. Now we just want a little bit of rose just in the middle of the lips, just there like that. And her face, I feel, just needs some more warmth to it, so let's get a bit of fresh burnt sienna there, and then a little bit of rose from down here to warm it, to make it a little bit nicer. Because her face is reflecting nice glow, let's see if I do this more of a pinky orange. Don't want to do too much. Now because it's raining, we can add a bit of a background that suggests the water. So what I'm doing is I'm wetting the background with my round 12, adding heaps of water, or cerulean blue or turquoise, some sort of really light color, and we can add some spots here. Yeah. And then what I've been thinking is that I grab quite a bit of this saturated ultramarine, and let's just see. I'm going to use splatters here, so if this doesn't work, you don't have to do it. I might need to let it dry. Maybe I need to let it dry a little bit. Does it look like it's raining? I'm not sure. Maybe a bit of white highlights as well. That's kind of cool how it comes down like that. Well, I'm going to use a hairdryer and I'm going to dry that, and then I'll come back and use the highlights on top. I think I've got a bit of room for, after that's dried, a little bit of turquoise and some splatters, because when I've dried the last one, the splatters disappeared. And look at that, there's rain. I've tried my best to have a bit of rain there. Okay, now I've got my Posca pen, which is the PC1M, and let's add a few little highlights here and there. So on the end of the nose, we'll start with the face, a little bit on the lip, and then some in the hair, just very small, okay, just like that, on the chin here. Okay, then edges of things on the left hand side where the sun is hitting. I've got this ring, some highlights in there, on the knuckles. You could also do in the eye, on the white of the eye, a little shiny bit, some now just edges. And this bag, because it has lots of nice patterns on it, maybe we can use that to show some patterns. And then the rain, points of those umbrella. And we could also add a line just on the edge here. So doesn't have to be accurate, just following a line like that, roughly. And perhaps on this shiny pole, just there a bit. Well, there you go, that's the final sketch. I hope that was easy to follow with the structure, with the face, and then we added some really nice loose watercolor on top and made it look like it was raining. If you like the full version with the in-depth explanation for this, please consider joining my Patreon. The reference and the template are there as well. And we have a great community, really wonderful, warm group of people which would love to see your sketches and encourage you on your journey. There's also a whole lot more fundamental tutorials there if you're interested in learning more. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.